G'day guys, it's Jake here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Please do your own research when it comes to investing. Be sure to check out my links below, including exchanges I use and social media content that I post. All right, let's go. So, another video and a different bit of analysis this time around. Looking at some Twitter charts and other sentiment things. It's important to gauge where we're at the current market cycle. Okay, for mostly Bitcoin, okay, but also where we are with the stock market as well, okay. So mixed mash between the two. It's important to gauge, different asset classes, okay, because we need to see when the hell is alt season going to start. That's what everyone's wondering, and myself included. So without further ado, let's start. We've got a chart here by Azemka. I just started following this guy. Definitely chuck him a follow. He's fantastic. Done his analysis. Now, he posted this one yesterday, and what's up with Mondays? New month fast approaching. Here's a chart of alts, others, and every first Monday of the month since March 2024 top. Okay, so you can see this is March 2024, and he's marked, okay, that basically every first Monday of the month, right? You can see there. There's some turning points, okay, so some tops that have occurred and bottoms. So bottoms in August, September, November, tops in October, July, June, May, and April. Get to December that year, marked a significant top, all right, in January, another local high, and then a local low for February of this year, and then March, then April, May. These are all turning points. June, a slight push up for a lower low. July, which was after this low was put in, okay, and then August, seeing this significant low, push higher. What will September bring? So tomorrow is Monday, Australia. The next day will be for America, which will be the first Monday of the month for September. So we'll see where that one lands. Very interesting to see what it does there. We have a small database, but I think we could say that downtrends, these Mondays have more odds to mark a local top in downtrends and bottom in uptrends, okay? Going to be interesting to see what happens in 2 days. Very interesting to see how often Mondays mark reversals, flushes too, in blue. Okay, so if we go to the next chart here, what we're seeing is blue arrows, right? Marking reversals, yep. I think this is just Mondays in general, and you can see here, sometime in October was a Monday, and it marked a reversal. Here, January, marked a sort of slight reversal. March of this year, we definitely saw a reversal upwards, and going into late April, reversal. May, and June, July. Okay, so you can see there are Mondays in between. It's random Mondays that they've picked. They can mark significant turning points. Okay, and the others chart is others market cap. This is basically everything outside the top 10 of crypto investments. And that's pretty much it. So will we see a low or a high in September? We don't know what's going to happen here. It's Monday, especially for the first chart we looked at, okay. Whether it marks a low or high, first Monday coming up of the month. So a very interesting chart. On to the next one. It's posted by David F., another guy you can follow. It's the 30-day cycle for Bitcoin. All right. On this, hopefully you can see this. Might be a little bit blurry, so might have to zoom into the video, pause it, have a look. So basically going back, and I might have to zoom in actually myself. I can or not. Probably can't. No, I can't zoom in. Forget about that one. Basically, up and down. The market moves in rhythm. Okay, it's not perfect rhythm, but it's up and down. It's like a wave, yeah? The upside or to the downside. It moves in waves. And that's why we get cycles, okay? So this is the 30-day cycle, marking significant lows and highs in price. See the reds, from the top, and the greens to the bottoms, okay? Top, bottom, 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 top. Now we're sort of heading down. It's suggesting that the next low that's coming up will be in the 1st of September. So right at the start of it's tomorrow, all right? Get a low, and then we'll start going up into, if I can zoom in, I don't think I can zoom in on this chart. It's very hard to read. Please excuse that. Short-sightedness. It's sort of mid-September, suggesting that there's a high. Okay, so we should rally up until mid-September and see another low. Probably a lower low. September is usually a bearish month for Bitcoin. And it's suggesting the low will be on the very end of the month. 3rd of September, it's a 3-day cycle, suggesting a low. Then a rally back up to mid-October. Okay, so a low in the end of September seems pretty reasonable. And I'll show you why. I expect a short little rally coming up before a dump. Okay, this is really another area of confluence, suggesting that 1st September right here is a pump, and then mid-September we'll start another correction down. All right, so that's that one. Google Trends. And look at him looking at Bitcoin here. Okay, now this chart ready. Actually, I should have this one ready on my slides. We'll pull it up anyway, and we'll go to world and past 5 years, and it's looking pretty grim. Okay, search trends at 20. We look like we're on a tear. On ago, basically this point here was mid-August, so it was going to shoot past this high, break. Whatever that was, that period there was November, which is very, very euphoric at the end of last year when Trump got elected. The meme coins that were going absolute bananas, berserk. And now we're sort of heading down, yeah. So we're heading back to these lows we made back in June, July, April, the tariff scares and all that. So really the interest has dropped off a cliff again. It's not what you want to see this part of the cycle. Now we're sort of looking at risk metrics. Okay, so the price, Bitcoin's price, we're at 0.41. I think is that correct? 0.41 risk. No, it's not correct. Bitcoin's risk metric is at 0.52. Okay. So here it is here. It's total market cap risk. Okay. All the cryptocurrencies, it's 0.614 or 0.524 Bitcoin. Okay, so that's that one. And social metrics at 0. This chart here really is the one I'm mainly gauging, which is like Twitter subscribers, YouTube views, exchanges, L1s, etc., etc. And you're seeing that we get these up periods. Okay, in the mania phases, see the 2017 cycle when it's high, we went above 0.8 risk. Same as the 2021 cycle, both peaks went above 0.8. And now we're at 0. 0. We're at 0. There's no lower than that, showing that even though Bitcoin's got up in this massive tear, no one really cares about it. Retail hasn't returned back. So that's that one. Monthly returns. All right, so for Bitcoin, and look like we're going to get a red August. Okay, this is not historically what happens in post-halving years. Okay, I'll show you what. So 2013 was the first post-halving year. In August, we got bullish, 30% up. 2017, 4 years later, 77%. Huge increase there. And then 2021, we got 13%. All right, so the next 4 years, we're getting a minus 6% figure. Now, you can say, well, post-halving years, but the majority of these columns, go to 2010, are red, which they are. Because on here, the average standard deviation says here, all right, what's the average? So that's it there. It's a negative month. August is usually bearish, all right, throughout the whole history of Bitcoin. Also, September is bearish. So the majority of columns there are red, okay? And if you go to the post-halving year, so back to 2013, is negative 4%. 2017, negative 10%. 2021, negative 7%. And now we haven't got to September yet, but we're going to get there. Will it be a repeat of every other post-halving year? And matching up with the average standard deviation, negative month? You tell me, I don't know. Potentially. We'll go to Ethereum as well. So Ethereum, that's that one. Ethereum, since 2015. So it's post-halving year, September, it was negative. Okay, in 2017. 2021, it's also negative. Let's repeat. Okay, and on average is negative as well. September is negative, obviously. And surprisingly, June finds a bit of weakness. All right. Majority of the months of June are very bad for ETH. But we're seeing a negative September coming up, I think, to line up with what's happening with Bitcoin. Okay, the king. Okay, so yeah, see something similar to those two. If Bitcoin goes down, ETH has to come down with it. All right. The king drops, the queen will fall too. All right. That's how it is. Bad analogy, but you get the idea. First and second, yep. Correlation is so strong between the two. That's why I say that, yeah. That Bitcoin, you wouldn't have it, the rest of the market wouldn't exist. And now fear of greed. We're reading right now 39. So we're getting fearful now. Okay, we're here. There you go, raw values. I like to look at raw values a bit better. And you see right down here, 39. We're shooting down, falling off a cliff. After the other day, sort of mid-August, we're sort of sitting at these 73 to basically close to 80, up you can see here. July to August, so we're sort of high in the greed territory. Now we're falling off. All right, we're cooling off with price. This price is correcting, as you can see here. So is risk. So we're coming down there in the fear and greed territory there. So it's quite fearful. Now on to price. So we're on to price now, and we actually, as we speak right now Bitcoin's only had a correction, and we're broken sort of 110. So we had this 110 level here. I drew out previously, slightly above, somewhere in between. Okay, and we've broken it. But will this be a wick and go higher? Don't know yet. Importantly to note that we are at the bull market support band. It has crossed bearish. So the red is above the green. So the SMA is above the EMA. Just in it could have a bearish period. And we are retesting it. What I'm seeing, I told you before, with the 30-day cycle, right? The 30-day cycle suggesting that a low in September, which is tomorrow, should get a shoot up, a sort of relief rally going to mid-September, and then back down in late September. All right, so whether it could get a little bit of a pump into mid-September, then it could get a dump going into October. Doesn't have to be exactly end of September. It could go a bit longer into October. That 30-day cycle is not perfect. Okay, it's just a rough plot of the rhythm of the charts. If that was absolutely accurate, then everyone would know about it, and everyone would be trading off it and making mega bucks. Not to work at a job anymore, but it's not perfect. It just gives you a rough guide where things can go. But you definitely see a rally, just a knee-jerk reaction off this EMA. Okay, so you get these knee-jerk reactions, and you get it here, get a reaction off it, all right, and eventually you break through. Sometimes you don't get there, but sometimes you do. You get a retest here, and it went higher. Rejection here. Tried to break above here, so we hovered around there, and we sold off. You get sort of knee-jerk reactions here, as you can see. Touched here back in May of 2024. Don't even get there. So still a gap between there, but always come back to revisit it eventually. Back in 2023, these knee-jerk reactions. Acting resistance before going higher. All right. Support, so went slightly below it. It bounced off it. Here, here, and you can go on and on, right? It broke through and faked out before continuing down. All right, so that's really what you expect for the Bitcoin. It's just a bull market support band, yeah? You use it for any asset class. And it should get a knee-jerk reaction in line with what the daily suggests too. On the daily time frame, we'll show you the MACD. Okay, and we're getting a really oversold reading. Okay, this would line up with a bounce. Okay, as you can see, it's very, very oversold. Get these oversold levels. Bitcoin usually gets a nice pump up. Okay, not all the time, but see, we get really oversold here. Okay, and we do get a knee-jerk reaction. We could get in a further lower low. That's what I'm expecting. So this to happen, something like this, and then MACD goes higher. All right, price goes lower. Yeah. So we've got it here too. Right. Got a bounce. Another low was formed. Right. And MACD made a higher low, sorry. We got back here too. The MACD went oversold. We got a reaction. Here, again, you got a reaction. Okay, so I'm just showing you some examples. These are rough. We get to the oversold territory, and that was huge. It was a massive turning point for Bitcoin after its spot ETF was launched. I'll show you one here. And sideways and then higher, okay? This can mark significant lows for Bitcoin's price. So be wary, okay? But I'm not saying this is the low is in here. Like I said, it could bounce, right? Going to probably mid-September, get a correction, going into the end of September, early October, and then shoot up there. And the MACD could mark a low, go like this, mark a little slightly higher low. So you'll get divergence, and price will go lower, then it'll go higher. Yeah. So you want to see a nice divergence in the daily. It'll be beautiful entry. So that is that for Bitcoin. Look at total 3, which is basically it. Get rid of USDT, all right, divided by Bitcoin. So every alts except for Bitcoin and ETH against Bitcoin, all right. You see these blue lines here, and I really want to pay attention to these blue lines. All right, this specifically is important because, why do I say that? Is every single blue line is September. September 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017. All right, as you can see there. Now, why do I sort of mention these lines specifically? Why is this so important? Well, it marks turning points, okay? It all started 2017. And you can see this high here. It's September. All going lower, all right? It's a massive turning point. Hit the bottom marked in there in October, and then boom, we had the alt season, all right? Here was a low, September. We shot up higher. Turning point in 2018, 2019, that the low was in. And the Fed started QE then, okay? So that was the low, all right? Again, at a high in September. You probably go back to the start of September. All right, roughly around here. What happened? It went lower. Okay, so a significant turning point in September. 2021, you had a high here. Bit of a turning point, all right? 2022, significant high. And obviously, look at that. Huge turning point. That was the end of the fun. Completely end of the fun. That was bear market anyway, but you can see it absolutely rinsed altcoins. And 2023, we had sort of a high here and went lower, okay? And did go a little bit higher here in January, but it was a turning point nevertheless. In 2024, a high which was resulted into a lower low here from this low. Nothing really interesting there, but 2025 will be interesting to see going in September. Will this mark a local high before going lower? Yeah, I don't know how long this bleed lasts. It could happen quicker than that and really rinse off. But ultimately, I just think this is going to be a turning point to the downside. This will be a local high. All right, because we had a pump. I do think we're going to get a reversal. All right, as I've showed previously on all these ones. Target is, 0.25. All right, touch, 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 and touch. To bottom out is metric. This bottoms out, you'd see explosive alt season after that. Don't know how long it's going to take. I have no idea, no crystal ball, but I want to see this bottom out first, and then boom, off to the races from there. The fun will continue. Everyone's going to be rich as rain, rich as as you want to be. Get out when this metric hits the top. All right, so that's that one. And lastly, I'll look at the Russell. The Russell and Bitcoin is in orange. So this is the Russell Small Cap 2000 stock. This is quite interesting, this chart, for a good reason, okay? And you can see these, so I've marked the top for Bitcoin each cycle in red, okay? And you can see this white as where the MACD on 3-day time frame has crossed. Okay, so I'll look at the price action for starters. So the first sort of cycle that Bitcoin got, they had these highs. Okay, we'll go back this far. This massive high in the 2007 sort of GFC. He failed to break here in 2011. Came up again in 2012 and eventually broke out in 2013. Okay, once we broke out, we're on an explosive tear. Right? What did Bitcoin do? The same thing, explosive tear. Right? Massive parabolic move for Bitcoin. Right, and then sort of consolidated again, went down in the bear market. Then we had this high here for the Russell. We smashed through it, as you can see here. Absolutely obliterated it. And we had a nice weekly close. Once it happened, Bitcoin went on a big tear. Right? Only when it broke out its high, when it did it. And that was 2017 cycle, 2021. A high, failed to break it, 2020. So it was 2018, 2020. Eventually broke it in late 2020. Boom, on a tear. And they both topped exactly at the same time, which is quite interesting this time around. And went down. Okay. I'll come to this. We'll finish this first. But you can see between these two periods, all right, between this period and this period, it's what's quite interesting. All right. So if I go on this tool and measure from where it broke out to where the Bitcoin top is, it's roughly a year, 364 days. All right. I'll do it back to the previous cycle, 2017. When it broke out to here, a little bit more than a year, okay, 492 days, and the 2013 cycle took about 364 days, so a year. Okay, so you can see a year, a bit more than a year, and a year. From where this metric broke out, the IWM and Bitcoin topping, all right? Go back to the 3-day time frame. The best entries, so look at this, was the breakout of the 3-day MACD. Right, so back to 2012. Now you can see it crossed here and it went parabolic tear and broke up. All right. 2016, same thing. We crossed bullish and then boom, they confirmed the breakout to the upside. In 2020, this cross here was bullish and then boom, after it broke out, see you later. Fun continued. Interesting thing is it's been very correlated, okay, to the IWM as of recent. As you can see here, the only problem we've got now is we're facing the same thing. So this high here in 2021, high here in 2024, okay. Now we haven't broke it yet. So you want to see this break, okay, with a weekly close, right? Weekly close above this level to confirm the next parabolic phase, okay? As I've circled here to see these parabolic phases Bitcoin gets every cycle in the orange, okay? Want to see this happen? We need to see this breakout and a 3-day MACD cross. All right, so that is that one, and quite interesting chart to analyze. Okay, so nothing fun until, like I said, we get this firm break and then continue higher. And that's your alt season right there. All right. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Just going over all different charts, analysis. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to cover. I try to wrap it up as quickly and as concisely, simply as I possibly can. So if you did like that, yeah, I hope you did enjoy it. There's a lot of jam-packed information in one video, and I tried to make it a little bit shorter. So, yeah, that's the sort of the gist of things. I'm trying to cover as much ground as I possibly can, given this is sort of a weekly video. I don't know if I'll be doing videos during the week. I don't think it makes sense to do so. I think the weekly video is enough. Cover a lot of ground to see what things are going. It's enough of an update for everyone watching. Every weekly video might be slightly different. So look at altcoins and different price action on them, metrics, etc. But for now, I just sort of, mixing it up a little bit. So every week's going to be slightly different. Some are the same, some are different, to get you on track the right track, hopefully, not the wrong track, the right track, make right decisions. Again, this is not financial advice, so please consult a financial advisor if you want to take it seriously. This is only educational purposes only. So if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to stay updated. Sure, check out my links below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.